Ken, Tricia's playing you for a fool, big baby. She's playing you. This lady's not gonna marry you. This lady's not gonna marry you. And they playing in your face about this Martell situation. Now, this is like the second time that this has come to light. You see how she always gets kind of, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Trisha's playing you, but this is what you want. You don't want caping for her ass. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We're here to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 9, Episode 9, Open House, Closed Mouths. If you guys haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and then leave your comments down below. All right. So the episode starts with Trish. So she's at work, apparently in like her home office. So we find out that she's an engineer, has been an engineer for 18 years. So kudos to her. So she's saying how she really wants to focus on training people. That's where her heart is. It warms her heart when she's able to help people transform and reach their physical goals and all of that type of stuff. So she's wondering, like she wants to step away from her typical 9-to-5 job of being an engineer. It's not fulfilling her as much as being an engineer was, or as much as being a physical trainer is. So Ken is like, well, I got you. Anything you want to do, I got it. I can make it happen. Relax. Relax, okay? Damn. So Ken is like, we did a good job hosting the party. Do you think so? Do you honestly think that y'all did a good job hosting that party? Okay. So Trisha's like, Marquez's entrance was weird. This man coming in and saying, hey, how y'all doing? I'm the father. How y'all doing? I'm the kid's father. That's weird. I guess. Sure. So they're then saying that Ken made a toast to all, that Marquez made a toast to all the men, and that was weird. We here for the kids. Did Ken not make a toast to the parents? How was that weird? Or how is that not weird? Is that not the same? Yes, it was weird that Marquez made a toast to all the men, to all the fathers. And it was just as weird that Ken stood up and made a toast proclaiming himself to be one of the parents. But okay, Trisha then goes on to say that their daughter said that Marquez is no longer a dad to her, and now he's Marquez or him. I've seen the comments from people that, yeah, that could be what them kids are feeling and yada, yada, yada. To me, that seems a lot of what Trish is instilling into those kids, though. It just does. Like, how old is this girl that she's like, I'm going to start calling my father him or by his first name? Now, if that is their son, if that's Xavier doing that because he's 18, to me, that would make more sense. But I don't know. To me, it's given, this is what, I don't know. It just feels like this is something that Trisha is kind of pushing onto these kids because she seems to like the chaos. She wants the kids to be just as upset and to hate Marquez as much as she does. But that's just me. So she then goes on to say that Marquez has not tried to see the kids since the barbecue. He was here the entire weekend, didn't try to see the kids. Weren't the kids supposed to come meet y'all when y'all did the ice cream? So does that not count? I don't know. A lot of this, Trisha is a liar, right? And because she is a liar, it makes me feel like everything that she says is super cap. I can't trust anything she says because we are watching her lie in plain sight about this Martell situation. We have watched her lie in plain sight about how long her and Ken have been together and hooking up and all of that type of stuff. So it's hard for me to believe anything she says in regards to those kids and relating to their father. But hey. So Ken then is like, are you ready to get married? And she's like, eventually, sort of, kind of, somewhat, maybe, I don't know. I wish Trisha would just say, look, I just got a divorce. I'm not ready to get married right away. That's what she needs to say, but she is stringing Ken along because Ken does help her with the kids. Ken probably does pay all the bills. Ken is probably going to be the one to help finance her lifestyle and help her get her her physical therapy, well, not physical therapy, but her physical fitness company off the ground. She's stringing Ken along, but he the fool. So in her confessional, she says she is hesitant to talk marriage and she doesn't want to make another 13-year mistake. The fact that Tricia still is, they said they got married right out of high school. So the fact that she is still comparing her 21-year-old self to however old she is now, late 30s, in regards to marriage and how she picks men is weird to me. So do you still have the same mindset that you had as a 21-year-old? Because that's what is given when you make like statements like this. So Ken wants them to do counseling and said that as long as they do the counseling and they do it right and they're back in the church, they're like, what could go wrong? A lot. A lot could go wrong, but I got it. Ken is in his confessional saying that he does not think that Tricia has doubts on marrying him. He thinks she just has doubts on marriage altogether. No, she has doubts on marrying you as well. She does. We then get this scene with Maurice and Martell. So Maurice comes over to Martell's house and he immediately brings up Marceau. He said, look, you and Marceau, y'all decided to just air everything out. So Maurice is like, is everything out? Are you good? Martell said, on my side, kumbaya for me. And I said, okay. Maurice feels that they have had issues since Scott broke up. He thinks that Martell low-key feels the way that Scott is thriving because that is their brainchild. Scott and Holt, Scott, they came together to form this business. Melody and Martell broke off from it or sold their part of it. However, that break happened, and Scott is now solely in the Scott's possession. They own it. Maurice feels that because Scott is still, moving and shaking, doing what they need to do, that Martell feels the way because Martell does nothing. He does nothing. He's not really still in the business in the capacity that he probably thought he would still be in the business arm. So Martell is like, no, that's cool. I want that to happen for them. It's cool. Like, I don't have no issues with Marceau, right? So Martell said that, look, Marceau says something about me, I'm going to come back at him the same way. Maurice said, that's what you do anyways. And Martell said, of course. Maurice feels that hurt people, they do. Is that not what you are now doing, Maurice? You're hurt, you're embarrassed that you got the DUI. So now you're trying to flip it and reverse it. And you're trying to make Martell feel more hurt about whatever he has done to y'all, but Martell doesn't care. Maurice is like a boomerang, right? Like everything that he spits out is basically stuff that he's doing. Maurice projects a lot. He projects a lot. So Martell said, look, I had to act like a kid because of how Marceau was treating me. I said, what? Okay. So Martell then said that he doesn't fall out with a lot of people. If anything happens, it really don't be me. So Maurice is like, so you're infallible. Martell don't know what that means. So Maurice is like, basically you're saying that anything that you do is never on you, is always the other person. And I was with Martell. We get it, you're a lawyer, but let's use a little bit of common sense, right? When people make blanket statements like that, they're almost always saying mostly. They are almost always saying it in mostly, unless somebody says all or never. Like, come on. So, but again, Maurice is there so that he can put on this image of, I gotta have a scene where I'm being the good guy, so then maybe, just maybe, everybody will forget that I got a DUI in the middle of the day. Or allegedly, he was arrested for a DUI. I know the case has been thrown out because of a technicality, right? So then Maurice is like, well, I know somebody else that is basically a deity. Melody came at me talking about she's disappointed. And, he feels that Melody is trying to make everybody out to be like Martell to prove that everybody is a cheater. No, Melody came at you about drinking and driving. She went around your back to talk about you being with the lipstick and stuff. But when Melody was talking to you, it was really about some disappointment that you were out drinking and got arrested for a DUI. But see, Maurice he has too much dip on his chip, to be honest. Maurice thinks so highly about himself that how dare somebody be disappointed in me? Who gives a fuck? That's what Maurice is on. Maurice doesn't care. Maurice feels that he can do whatever he is. Maurice is the one that thinks he's infallible. Maurice is the one that thinks he's a step away from being a deity. Come on. Come on. So Maurice is going on and on about talking about how, he gives Melody grace because her dream wasn't to be famous because of Martell cheating. He said that Melody is projecting because she's hurt. And then he said that he has not seen the real Melody in a while. So wait. And y'all know I don't like anybody on the show, right? I'm on everybody's side and I'm on nobody's side when it comes to this show. In this particular instance, for Maurice to say that Melody coming at him about getting a DUI and telling him she's disappointed in him because of doing that is her projecting her hurt from being cheated on. What? Is common sense in the room? Come on, Maurice. See, Maurice likes to talk in circles. Just like Melody, they like to talk in circles. And they like to point the finger at everybody else to hide what the bullshit that they have done. This was a stupid argument, Maurice. This makes absolutely no sense. He then goes on to say that Melody is being tactical. Are you not being tactical right now, Maurice? Because you're not here to talk about the DUI. We don't want to talk about the DUI. Damn that. We don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about how Melody is, she's hurt. She's hurt. And that's why she says she's disappointing in me for being a lawyer and a public figure and a prominent member of the Huntsville community and for being arrested for a DUI and then my mugshot is all over. But you know what? I'm gonna create this scene. Right? I'm going to craft this scene where I come in and I'm giving Martell advice and I'm pointing out Melody's flaws so people can forget what I did. That's what Maurice is doing. You're just as tactical as Melody is. But okay. So Maurice thinks that they both need to let the hurt go, especially Martell. Martell said he doesn't know what the next step is. Maurice said, well, pray and sleep on it. Pray and sleep on that DUI. So Martell said that he always looks like, not Martell says, I wrote, Martell always looks like he is receiving what they're saying, but it's going in one ear and out the other. Martell is not concerned about any goddamn thing that y'all are saying. He doesn't care. He's not listening to y'all. He's paying y'all dust. He's not receiving any of this, but okay. We then get Tricia and Kimmy. Tricia wants to meet up with Kimmy because she wants to get Kimmy's advice about being an entrepreneur. Remember, Kimmy was a registered nurse. She went from being this registered nurse to being, what is Kimmy? Is she a broker now? I think she's a broker because she's not a real estate agent, but she's an entrepreneur. So Kimmy is like, look, I'm busier now as an entrepreneur than I was when I had my 9 to 5. And, a lot of people think that entrepreneurs can take 2 to 3 weeks off. And that's not the case. People don't think that, though. We don't. I work a 9 to 5. Nope. And I've been off since before Christmas. And I don't go back until after the new year. No part of me thinks that entrepreneurs are able to do the same thing that I just did paid. No, we don't. So Trish is like, well, I want to, get a commercial building to open a gym and I want to go full time with, physical fitness. So Kimmy asked her, do you have enough clientele to make that jump? Tricia says she does if she didn't have to kind of turn people away because of her 9 to 5. So she wants this commercial building to open her own gym. She wants to get into selling protein powders and all of this type of stuff. Sounds great. She has a business plan, which is even better. So Kimmy said, look, I like when you're happy and all this type of stuff. I can start looking at some places for you. Got a place in mind. Tricia says she's bougie. You gonna take what you can afford, sis. We build from the ground up. But cool. Kimmy is like, because at your party, it was tension. Even with Melody. Speaking of Melody, I had to talk to Melody about the lipstick conversation. I said, what a terrible segue. What a terrible, horrific segue. But okay. So the way that Kimmy was phrasing it is that she ran up on Melody and told Melody, basically, keep my dude's name out your mouth. I haven't heard anything about the lipstick, whatever the case. So Trish is like rolling her eyes and kind of like, of course, I don't understand her beef with Melody. Right? Like, Melody hasn't, unless something's going on behind the scenes, Melody hasn't done anything to Trish. So it's weird that whenever people bring up her name, she's like rolling her eyes and all this type of stuff. I don't get it. It's odd. It's weird, okay? So Kimmy asked Trish if she is going to Martell's open house. Trisha says she doesn't know because now it's coming to her and she's realizing that Martell used the training as a way to get like to her. And Kimmy was like, you just now catching on to that? You came to this nigga's house. Trisha now admits that Chris Fletcher was the one trying to get them together. And Kimmy is like, wait, what? So did you know? Or did Fletcher know that, like, you were in a situation, you were married, Martell was still kind of in a situation? And Trisha is like, it's just so weird. Trisha, you really getting on my nerves. You really getting on my nerves, sis. Like, every time Trisha talks about this Martell situation, the way that she is trying to absolve herself, the way that she is trying to make it seem as if she had nothing to do with this, the way that she wants to kind of phrase it as Martell like preyed on her or something, like, it's weird. You were just as complicit, sis. You said you went to this man's house after conversing on Instagram and y'all watched TV in his living room. Do you typically go to your clients' houses and sit in the living room and watch a movie before y'all train? Because if that is not what you typically do, why are you act like, don't bring this lady back. She is weird. And the thing is, she keeps getting caught in this lie. When in reality, if we go back to the beginning of this, if you would have just let Martell ignore you and act like he didn't know you, you wouldn't be in this situation. So Martell has a therapist come over and she asked him his goals. He said that he wants to raise successful children, okay? He feels that if he does anything for himself to better himself, that his kids are going to suffer. And the therapist is like, but why? Why can't the two things go together? Why can't you, one, do things for your children and build them up with short-term goals for your kids, and two, have some short-term success goals or self-improvement goals for yourself? Martell admits he's making excuses. Duh. We know that, Martell. Martell feels that he is mentally strong because he can stop certain things in a minute. That is clearly not true, but let's continue. He said there are certain things that are more difficult for him to stop, like being an asshole, like harassing his ex-wife, like harassing Marceau and swearing up and down that Marceau has all these women, like trolling Tisha, like refusing to apologize. Yeah, there are a lot of things that Martell cannot do. We know. The therapist said that Martell uses his kids as an excuse to not focus on his self-development. So Martell feels that he needs to be a little mentally stronger at letting things go and does not think he needs to work on anything else. I said, oh my God, what a narcissist. What a narcissistic asshole. The therapist then said that he needs to set up an atmosphere to pray more. Give this nigga some exercises on what he can do to better himself. This was a pointless therapy session. So we finally get to the open house, which was like the basis of the episode. And basically the open house was the cast and then some white extras that they hired to, mill around in the background. Them white people ain't buying that house in North Huntsville. We know that. So the guys go outside after a toast and Fletcher says, well, where's Marceau? I was with Maurice. Well, you were at the field day. Do you think Marceau would be here? So Martell said that he was not the instigator. So then Ken is like, yeah, same with me and Marquez. I don't be the instigator. Yes, you do be. You antagonize that man. You antagonize him because then Ken goes on to say, I don't have a problem with him, but you know what? My issue is that he's just not present in his kids' lives. That's my problem with him. Okay. Then said that I'm even willing to leave the house. If he's not comfortable coming to the house to see the kids, I'm willing to leave the house. Now, Ken, you might not be the problem, but Tricia definitely is a part of it. It's all three of y'all. This is not solely on Marquez. It comes down to every single one of these adults in this situation. Right? He then goes on to say, man, Marquez just ain't a man. He's not a man. What makes you more of a man, though, Kim? The fact that you're quote unquote stepping up to take care of somebody else's kids, you're doing that because you're trying to get to their mother. That's why you're doing it. But okay. So Martell then said that it's still fresh for Marquez. So he understands. He said, because if people ask me, if I still love Melody, I say no, but I be lying. And it's like, Martell, please. Martell, please. Martell thinks in his confessional, he thinks that Ken should remove himself and let Tricia decide if she wants to divorce on her own and not be the one to force her. Now, I see what Martell is saying, and I get it. Because the way that this is going, Tricia is not jumping and trying to get a divorce, right? This entire season, from what we have seen so far, it has been Ken pushing her, asking her about the divorce. Tricia, she's not trying to do that. She's not trying to. And we know she's not trying to because she really doesn't want the divorce because she doesn't want to marry Ken. So Kimmy, Nell, and Tricia are inside the house. And Trish said, look, Marquez won't sign the divorce papers and she hasn't filed them. So Kimmy is in her confessional like, wait, what? So they're asking Trish, why haven't you filed them? Tricia says she hasn't had time. You got your black ass sitting here right now at an open house for a house you have no intention on buying. So why couldn't you on the way to the open house or forego the open house to go file them papers? Tricia, play in somebody else's face. This is why you can't believe nothing this lady is saying. You don't have time to go file them. We have seen you make time to go do everything else. You've been out getting ice cream. You had time to go visit Kimmy in the middle of the day when she was working. You got time to be at this open house. You have time to go to that courthouse. If you wanted something done, you would do it. People make time for what they want to make time for. So Kimmy in her confessional, it's like, I don't think she's ready to put the past in the past, and that's why she has not went and filed them papers. So why did you have the notary come over? For stunts and shows? Going somewhere, Trish. Weird as fuck. So Tricia then said that there is an uneasy feeling after her conversation with Melody. Girl, what? What? She want to beef with Melody so bad, and it's weird. So she tells Nell that Fletcher told Martell to reach out to her, and she feels like there is a line of loyalty that was crossed since the Fletchers were once close with the host. Remember, they were their mentors, okay? So Nell jumps up right away and goes outside to get Chris. Now, Tricia is like, oh man, why is she doing that? Why did you bring it up? Was Trish brought in to, just sow seeds of discord? Why you want to ruin every event with your bullshit? It's always with your bullshit, girl. And then you look shocked when things happen. I don't get it. So all the men come in, and Martell is like, why y'all want to talk about all this drama at the open house? Because ain't nobody else there, and y'all got a scene to shoot. So Trish is like, do we have to have the conversation now? Bitch, you brought it up. You brought it up, Trish. But see, now that everybody's in the room, right, everybody that's involved, now the truth is going to come out, and she's scared of the truth coming out for whatever reason. So Martell starts to explain, and you hear Trish. You hear her heartbeat because now she's nervous. She's nervous. So Martell is like, look, this is what happened. Trish cuts him off so quickly, and it's like, okay, we can move on. We know it. I was with Ken. Whoa. Whoa. No. Let's get to the bottom of it. Trish said there's nothing to get to the bottom of. No, there is, because I don't want to keep talking about this. Let's catch this weird ass heifer in her lie so we can move on from it. Chris said, look, I was in the gym. I was working out. I was on the phone with Martell. Martell asked, were there any women at the gym? And I said, yes, women everywhere. Oh, there's a woman over here. She's pretty. I think her name is Trish. Now, while they're having this conversation, Fletcher is standing right here, right? Martell is next to him. Every time Chris starts talking more and more, Martell would go and stand in front of him so that he can like look him in his eyes. And then I guess to be like, nigga don't. And then he comes back and stands next to him. It's very obvious what's going on because Martell cannot stand still. He was antsy. Fletcher is trying not to cross his friend. So you can tell he's lying. So all of a sudden, everybody is like, see, nothing happened. Nobody's believing this, right? Everybody is looking like, okay. Ken, in his confessional, was like, there's some deception going on. And it rubbed me the wrong way. It's clear that Fletcher and Martell's stories are not adding up, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Whatever. That was the episode, though, y'all. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Have a happy and safe new year. And I will catch you guys in 2025. Peace.